Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at Games Workshop's most recent disaster. So here we have the pre-orders, and they have gone live. And man, have we had some issues with Games Workshop's website crashing nonstop. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so we've got the big release here for the Lion and Retinue. Obviously the Collector's Print Special Edition stuff. And then we have the Arks of Omen Lion Collector's Edition and the Lion Son of the Forest Limited Edition. So I got in line here in advance. I had the Lion Arks of Omen and also Lion Son of the Forest Limited Edition in my cart. And Games Workshop's site has been like crashing, basically reloading, timing out, everything. And by the time I got back in, basically, it said originally that the other book was sold out and this one was still available. I took the other book out of my cart, tried to cash out this one, and then it timed me out and said this book is no longer available. So, I mean, at this point in time, it's very clear that Games Workshop is not making enough of these things. They're making 2,000 copies of these things, special edition, limited edition. They sell out all the way around the world in literally seconds, and Games Workshop's site is just not capable to handle this. I don't know why they don't put like the queue system back in place where at least there's some kind of order and people can check out, because this is just completely ridiculous. I think I spent close to like 20 plus minutes trying to get the situation to work, reloading pages, going to checkout, everything. And in the end, I was able to spend exactly $0 on the things I want. So, I mean, everything is sold out. The Lion and Retinue, the actual Lion book, the Lion Arks of Omen book. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me as someone who runs a business and, you know, Games Workshop, obviously a business as well. The goal you would think would be to sell as much of your project as possible, but they constantly don't make enough. And it seems like they're always pushing out a bunch of extra stuff that's not nearly as popular, and then not making nearly enough of the stuff that's super popular, which you would think after a couple weeks of that happening or a couple months of that happening, you would correct course. But here we are, an entire launch set, literally everything brand new, completely sold out, unavailable, unattainable. But if you want Dante, you can still get you a Dante. So don't be completely sad here. There's still Dante. I never thought that Games Workshop could disappoint me so much as this week's pre-orders. In the past, I've had issues with waiting in line or things selling out quickly, but I've almost always gotten what I wanted as long as I was there and ready and prepared. I think this is like the first time when I had everything in my cart, went to check out, was completely prepared, and Games Workshop completely failed me. So definitely a little bit disappointed on that. Obviously, all these things sold out for now. We do see Azrael, Supreme Grand Master, now has his model, as well as Dante. Two super cool models, obviously. And then we see the Vashtorr Archfane has made his official debut. $100 for him. Absolute shame. The truth is, though, if you start looking at Vashtorr at $100 and Azrael at $45, suddenly that box set doesn't look too bad. At like $200, and you get both them included. Then we have the regular Lion. So that one is still available. If you do want to get the Arks of Omen Lion, you can still pick up the regular version. And then we see the Lion Son of the Forest regular version completely sold out as well. So it's not even just that people are after the collector's edition versions of stuff. They're just genuinely super interested in Primarchs or this Primarch or just in general in the stuff that Games Workshop's producing. And I understand they're under like some production constraints, but at some point in time, you would think they would have ramped up a second factory or another factory or a North America factory, or regardless, they would say, hey, let's make a little less of some of the books that aren't that popular. And instead of making 2,000 of the special edition book, let's make 2,500 instead of making how many, you know, I would just think it's common sense for that stuff. So, I mean, I'm not the only one, obviously, who gets in line, is all ready, tries to buy something, and then gets disappointed. But I think that it happens enough times and people are legitimately frustrated. And this is actually not the first time I've had issues like this, but this is by far the worst it's ever been, with the website completely crashing and not even be able to buy what you want. So the Sicaran Venator Tank Hunter, $80 for that. The Cerberus Heavy Tank Destroyer, $115 for that. Two big chunky tanks. And then we have the Boarding Patrol Agents of the Imperium. I think this one will be fairly popular. The breachers are pretty cool. A lot of people had mentioned this, and I definitely agree that instead of the second squad of breachers, I would have really liked to see a squad of the Arbites in there. So like 10 breachers, 10 Adeptus Arbites, and then the Elucidian Starstriders and the Assassin. I think that would have been an awesome set. Obviously, they just came out in the kill team, and that was rather limited and everything. But I think it would at least like show some kind of plan if they would have done something like that. That would have been really cool. And then we have the Votann boarding patrol. I don't know if this one is sold out, but I suspect this thing is going to sell out really quickly if it's not already. So it is still available for now, limited to 2 per customer. I think this is a really nice set, especially because the Hearthguard have been sold out for so long. And then the Berserks and Hearthguard are basically like auto includes in every army. So this is definitely a really nice set. I imagine that will be sold out shortly here, but there is still a chance to grab it. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. And then it's just basically White Dwarfs and some stuff left over from last week. A couple of books here. And then all of the made-to-order Dark Eldar or Drukhari stuff. I'm not going to go through all the individual items, but it looks like in general they've just sort of hit that $29 price point. So pretty much any of these individual characters, $29 for the set. Absolutely crazy since most of these are like dated. Some of the models are still cool, some are terrible, but it's crazy to see them that expensive. Okay, and then on to like Grotesque and Rakarth and stuff. $35 a pop for those guys, so a little pricey as well. Arks of Omen, Sanguinary dice. These are cool. I really like the gold and everything. The red goes decent with it. They have a decent little contrast. $35 for 15 of those. So yeah, lots of cool stuff here. Obviously, the stuff I was most excited about all sold out. Obviously, that happens. Stuff can sell out. Stuff will sell out. But if you're waiting ahead of time and absolutely ready, and the actual website itself is what's crashing, or the company just doesn't have enough supply to meet the demand, there's obviously something wrong here. And I get that Games Workshop is limited by like their production facilities and they're running like 24/7, but it doesn't make any sense that you're not making enough of like Primarch related stuff. I have always said that I suspect all the Primarchs will eventually come back into 40k, even the ones that got their heads cut off or slain by their brothers. But the truth is, it's just like super easy money. And Games Workshop is a company, so it makes sense for them to create anything that's going to sell extremely well. Now, you don't want to completely break the game. You don't want to disenfranchise your fans. But if you have these awesome, heroic minis and stories and everything, and you have the opportunity to basically use those to sell models and grow your IP and grow your game and everything, it makes perfect sense that Games Workshop would do that. So I think it's just a matter of time before all of, or almost all of the Primarchs come back, depending. But realistically, Games Workshop still can't figure out what's going to be really popular. I mean, they made like 1 million of Azrael and Vashtorr sets, and nobody even wanted those. And then the Lion comes out right afterwards, and they make 2,000 copies of the special edition book, or, you know, a handful of the actual model. Just absolutely blows my mind. I don't know who's in charge down at Games Workshop or like what their excuse is, but it's to the point now where, I mean, they're a $1 billion company. They're selling massive amounts of stuff. Like if you go and get in line and try to buy stuff, you should be able to buy it. And if you're making limited edition stuff and you're still limiting it to 2,000, there's definitely an issue. I mean, worldwide, this game is exploding. There's hundreds of thousands of players at this point in time, arguably more than that, collectors, people that are interested just in the IP in general. So I would think at some point in time, you maybe bump that up. They have done a lot of special edition books in the past at 2,500. It's not like they have to worry about devaluing their product because no one can even get a hold of it. So if you make 2,000 and it sells out, the next time you should make 2,500. And then if that sells out, you should make 3,000. The problem is, for whatever reason, Games Workshop can't tell that something like The Lion, a book about a Primarch, is going to be really, really popular. and then they like compare that to some other limited edition book about somebody that's cool but not nearly as popular. It was the same exact thing with the Tau situation. I was lucky in the sense that I got one of the Farsight boxes, the Tau Boarding Patrols, but I totally get where people are coming from. You get super hyped to pick something up, even if you were going to pay full price for it, and then you can't even get it. So it's like a complete letdown. So, you know, could have been a awesome, euphoric experience, and instead complete disappointment and letdown. So yeah, a little bit sad on this particular video. Not the typical excitement you see for the releases, as it was basically crushed by the fact that I wasn't actually able to get any of them. So that being said, going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. I am Warhammer Man. This is Warhammer Man Studios, and I'm really bummed out. Games Workshop completely failed me on this one. I did everything possible in my own hands to get what I wanted, and I was unable to spend my money. And that to me is a failure of business. So that's all I got to say. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.